Have you ever wondered what the future holds? What changes are occurring now that will impact our lives and our world tomorrow? And more importantly, who are starting all these changes? Hi everyone, I am Elena Bou and this is Join the Curious. A series of inspiring talks for challenging minds where we will explore innovation and sustainability alongside the most prominent pioneers from different fields, including academia, politics, research, technology and business. Why don't you join us? Good afternoon. Taking the opportunity that we are here in Berlin in the TBB 2021. So we have here two of our great entrepreneurs and innovators that you have a great challenge in your hands because you are trying to make the Hyperloop a reality. So for the first questions to Luis and Tim, what is the Hyperloop?
Yeah, so you can see Hyperloop as sort of a network of low-pressure tubes or vehicles traveling inside. And because there is almost no air, you can achieve very high speeds, actually up to 1,000 kilometers an hour, but for very limited energy usage. It's actually 1/10 of the energy that an airplane uses. So imagine we're now in Berlin, you could go to Amsterdam, Paris, even Valencia, just in minutes, instead of the hours that it takes now.
This is something built from scratch. And we have a great opportunity as Hyperloop developers to really put the passenger into the center, and build everything around them. So it will be a great experience. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm pretty sure that once you travel first time with a Hyperloop, it will be really hard to really go back to the airplane, or even a train in some cases, and feel the same.
In our point of view, it's much more an addition towards the already existing modalities. And so now we have cars, trains and airplanes. You can see Hyperloop as the next mode that can be very easily implemented besides what's already there. So just imagine a road or a railway. You just put some columns next to it with the Hyperloop tube on top and then you're basically already done.
So most part of international mobility, for passenger is held by aviation. And the reality for aircraft, for instance, for the aviation, is that airplanes are a great technology and they are advancing unbelievably well. They have this pain of that they are pollutant and the CO2 footprint that they have. But the reality is that beyond 2,000 kilometers, they are almost unbeatable. So the CO2 footprint per passenger and per kilometer is so efficient. However, when they need to cover routes that are 200, 300, 400 kilometers, that sometimes they are pushed to do that. When you got an island, you have no option. But when you have in the inland, in Central Europe, you definitely can switch that. You can shift into another modes of transport, in this case Hyperloop, why not, that can achieve a greater efficiencies for the passengers, for the comfort, and also for the CO2 footprint.
You need to have Hyperloop stations, but they can actually be very closely integrated to the already existing train stations or existing airports. And you have the Hyperloop infrastructure, but that's actually much easier to implement if you compare it to a high-speed rail, for example. You need much less ground. You just need some place for the columns where you can put a tube on top. And then you're basically there, or you can implement it underground in much smaller tunnels than the tunnels you would need nowadays for roads or for railways. So you would also save a lot of cost there. And by the convenience of implementation, you can actually also implement a system for lower cost compared to large high-speed rail, for example. And in that sense, besides the additional comfort and speed, from an economical point of view, it's also a very interesting proposition.
2030 is the milestone that I think most of us have said internally to have ready the technology. However, there are some externalities, such as when exactly a government will bet on Hyperloop and will decide to start the construction of the Hyperloop infrastructure. That won't last 1 week, okay? So probably it depends on the length of the route. It can go from 6 months to 2 years, and we basically depend on that to really facilitate that this becomes operative.
So what is key for the implementation of Hyperloop is public sector leadership. So that governments, but also in this case the European Union, really says, I want to have Hyperloop, and preferably before this date, and provide support on all required aspects. So financing, regulation, permits, that will be of major help. Now we're following the regular processes, but a great statement in that way, that could accelerate the developments even more.
And this is an opportunity for a brave, sponsor at the European level, for instance. I don't know, we normally say when there's a large public funding project, we saw the Marshall Plan, in the States. It was several decades ago, okay, I would say, and still we call to that. So why not? I mean, maybe there's someone, who can say, hey, this guy who hold a relevant position in Europe start, pushing towards the creation of this Hyperloop system. At the day of tomorrow, I think any of us will have problem that this will call whoever plan, even in case Hyperloop becomes a reality.
So here we have 2 dreamers, 2 teams that they are able to mobilize a strategic partnership. You have been able to mobilize investors, you have been able to mobilize a whole ecosystem. You are creating the future, so you are not only dreaming, you are creating the future. And all the success, because it's really great to see such a young people with these dreams to make our lives improve and change for the future. So all the best, and I hope that in 2030 we will be able to come back to Berlin, but by Hyperloop.
We will have fun.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here with us, and stay tuned for the next chapter of Join the Curious, where we will explore another unique topic and the mind behind it. Are you already curious about it?